So how many of you guys have heard the phrase, the way you do anything is the way you do everything? Yeah, clapping, right? And how many of you guys have really considered the ramifications of that phrase? That the way that you walk and the way you talk, the way you move, can show things about you that will end up in other areas of your life. I started looking into this, and it became both thrilling and very frightening at the same time, and here's why. We're all unofficial individual body language experts, but where it started to be thrilling was when I realized you could see interpersonal relationships laid out physically in the realm of social dancing. As they said, I'm a Lindy Hopper. That's what I do, and after 13 years of watching this stuff, I see patterns out on the dance floor, and those patterns can be missed by people who don't know what they're looking for. So I'm going to help you guys see what I see. And then we'll get to figure out how it's practically applicable for real life and how it can be in access. So say we have a dancer, and the dancer has an idea. They start moving. This is how a cohesive team is going to get set up. Another dancer connects in. More dancers can connect in. This can go on for quite some time, actually, as long as the connection is there. And the connection is an open and honest line of communication between the person and the leading source. And if they're all connected, and the leading source decides to change something, it'll go ricocheting down the line. So let's have a little fun with them, now that they're connected. See if they get this. And once you're connected like this, anyone along the line could start being the leader. It doesn't actually matter who's leading. So I've actually become the ultimate follower here on the end. I think Alex is leading. So once they're connected like that, the group stays together. So where this breaks down physically, also it breaks down socially. You want to look for 3 things when a group isn't working. Number 1, the lead isn't clear, because the good, the bad, and the ugly gets transferred down that line. So if you're not being clear with your leads, everyone is going to be confused. The second thing is if 2 leaders try to lead at the same time. If Alex and I had both tried to insist upon our ideas, we would have split the group in half, or there would have been mass mayhem among everybody in between, and they would have walked off going, well, I never want to experience that again. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah, we have that management in our life. So the third thing that you want to look for is if the group is not actually communicating. If they're not connected, they won't be moving together as a unit. So if you're working with a team and they're not working together, check the integrity of the communication first and foremost. Then something else can be possible. Let's look at what makes a leader effective now. I want you guys to watch this particular move, because this one's a fun one.
5, 6, 7, and whoop.
Watch it again real quick. This is a rock step.
5, 6, 7.
Most people, if they don't dance, when they see that, they would say the leader is pushing the follower back to get her to step back. So I came up with a way to show you what's actually happening. Here we have a stick. They're going to do the move again, and I want you guys to focus in right here and tell me if the stick moves towards the leaders or the followers at any given time.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Do you guys need to see it again? You got it? It's not actually moving towards either of them. You guys can take the stick and play with it now. So what's actually happening? When 2 people connect, both the leader and the follower are committing to a collective center of gravity. A relationship, if you will. And they're committing to keep it wherever the leader puts it. It's being represented by the stick in this case, and they're doing circular motion with it. Here, let me take the stick away from you guys. That actually shows up in dance moves like this one. So it can be a pretty powerful motion that's created, as long as they're committed to keeping their hands in place. You can also do linear motion, not just circular. That's where that rock step comes in. And it shows up in dance like this. These are side passes. Okay? Pretty powerful. He's moving his body first, and then she's getting the reaction from it. The third one, this is kind of funny. We don't do this on the social dance floor very much, but Andrew could actually decide to make me the collective center of gravity. I am the center of the universe right now. I don't move very much. It feels very weird. Usually the girl's the one that's orbiting. So there you have it. So where does this break down physically? Well, it breaks down if the leader doesn't move themselves relative to the connection, if they're not working on themselves, if instead they try to manipulate the follower's space. And it looks kind of like this. We call it arm leading. It's not bad, just without the body leading in front of it. I would imagine Samantha's experience is something along the lines of overworked, harried, not sure what's coming next, unclear. We've all been there, right? So leaders, if you're having a lot of that kind of response from your followers, they feel overworked and harried. It may be because you're trying to manipulate them and get in their space rather than being the inspiration for them to get in motion, okay? The other one is if two people are just not paying attention to each other. This can be very energetic and fun. And people, sometimes they go, I just want to dance, I just want to go out and have fun. But if you're not actually communicating with the other person, there won't be any collaboration, there won't be any meshing of the ideas. So that's just very important to take note of. Again, none of this is wrong, it's just something to be responsible for. The other one is, and I want you guys to be clear with this, body lead, arm lead, wrist lead, smaller joints in sequence. Andrew can do a correct one, we're not going to show the bad one. He can do really small joint leads as long as I'm already in motion, okay? But if he tried to do that without me already moving my center with his, it would feel like, you know, twisting my arm like that, okay? So the principle behind that for your social life is you have to get people on board with your main idea before you can do things like give harsh criticism or specific instructions or really quick turnarounds, okay? So just be careful with that. Otherwise, it's called micromanagement. All right, so are we good? So now let's take a look at what happens when two leaders interact. Katie, Beth, and Anthony are going to show this. There are a couple ways this can go down. Katie Beth's leading herself. Anthony tries to lead too. And it doesn't quite work. Maybe you guys see some failed relationships in this one. He could try again, and this time be successful. But she's not really listening still. Without the initial listening, Anthony's putting a ton of energy into the relationship, just keeping it going. So let's have her switch. Let's have her actually listen. Anthony can then relax and chill out. He has the space to think about something other than the relationship. So he could actually interact with the other dancers on the dance floor or check out the band. Great. Thank you. We're going to have a little more fun with this. I'm going to let the dancing talk. When I see this, it kind of looks like a dinner conversation, and we call it a steel dance. noticed there was more than one idea going on at any given time. If two people started leading and there was a follower stuck in the middle, it was probably a pretty unhappy follower until the group split. But it does end up being a lot like a conversation. So what I want to leave you guys with is this. After the vulnerability of knowing that people can see you for who you are by the way you move, you figure out they already do that. The only person that's in the dark is you. And you can figure out your blind spots by watching yourself move and interact with other people. So to me now, it's incredibly valuable to take videos of myself dancing and see where my weaknesses are. So if you knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that you could figure out why your relationships fail, why you have tension with your boss at work, or why it is that your teams aren't working together by watching a video of yourself dance, would you have the courage to take that video? And then, would you have what it takes to change what you need to change about yourself to be effective where up to this point you've been ineffective in your life? So, there you have it.